Hi friends, I have card 1 of 3, which is part of my February 2018 online stamp club projects, and each month I demonstrate techniques, and this month is all about the emboss resist technique. So this technique has been around for a long time. It's an oldie but a goodie, but there's still lots of new stampers and this is new to them. So I'm excited to share this really fun and easy technique. Now this is a heat embossing technique, so you will need your Versamark and your embossing buddy. This is my embossing buddy right here. It's this is a little pillow with magic dust in it, so that when you wipe it onto your cardstock, it removes any static so that we don't get embossing powder where we don't want it. And of course, you're also going to need your heat tool. So I'm just going to jump in and start stamping. Now for the 3 projects this month, I'm featuring the Amazing You Sale-a-bration stamp set. I love this stamp set. So I'm going to start by stamping this flower right here. So I'm going to move this card out of the way. Right. So I've already taken my embossing buddy onto my piece of Whisper White, and the Whisper White measures 2 1/4 by 4 1/4, and I'm just stamping randomly onto the paper. Don't know if you can see that on the camera, slightly. Now I'm going to emboss this with white embossing powder. Now you can use clear as well. I'm going to use white. Both will work just as well. And I just put my embossing powders into little tubs and scoop them out with spoons. Okay. Okay, so now I'm going to sap this with my heat tool. So I have my raised white embossed line, and I'm using pumpkin pie. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a sponge. Now I cut my Stampin' Sponges into little bits, and I actually use all sides, as you can see. This is just a decorated clothespin that I happen to have, but you can use that if you don't want to get your fingers dirty. Just grab a clothespin, but I don't mind inky fingers. So I'm just getting my pumpkin pie ink onto my sponge and just sponging it on all over. And you can see that where I've stamped and embossed, that embossing is resisting the ink. It is so cool. It's just like magic. And no matter how long you've been stamping, this technique never gets old. In fact, I don't find anything we do with embossing gets old. It's always kind of magical and always a wow. Okay, so now that I've got that all covered, I want to go back in with some pumpkin pie on the flowers, and I just want to go in darker. Now we actually have sponge daubers that are super cool, and they just fit right onto your finger, and you could use that as well instead of a sponge. I don't know where mine are, so I'm using my sponge. You can see where I've gone darker, and then just take a paper towel such as I'm doing, or a facial tissue, a baby wipe, whatever you want, but you're just going to wipe it off to remove any ink that would be sitting on those embossed lines. Isn't that fun? So pretty. So this piece of Whisper White measures 5 by 3 3/4, and I run it through the Big Shot using a folder from the Petal Passion Textured Impressions embossing folders, which is in the 2018 Occasions catalog from Stampin' Up. So I have just run that through once, and then I slid it over. I just kind of lined it up. I slid it over and ran it through the Big Shot twice, and that is going to go on a piece of pumpkin pie. I keep wanting to say paper pumpkin, but that's going to go into a piece of pumpkin pie cardstock, and this has been cut to measure 4 by 5 1/4. This is going to go on my Whisper White card base, which one folder measures 5 1/2 by 4 1/4. I decided I wanted to add a little extra pop of color on this card, and I'm using the Bermuda Bay shimmer ribbon that you can also get for free during Sale-a-bration. I love all these freebies. So I'm just taking a little strip of ribbon and wrapping it around Okay. Some more adhesive. You don't want your cards falling apart, so don't be shy when you put your adhesive on your card. That goes right on the front. And then this piece is being matted on a piece of pumpkin pie that measures 4.5 by 2.5. Now I'm just putting on some Stampin' Dimensionals. If you ever have a hard time getting the backing off your dimensionals, just push in the center of your dimensional and the other side just pops right up. Okay, I'm gonna put it on like that. Now what I've already done is, because members in my virtual online stamp club receive pre-cut card supplies to put these projects together, so I already have some pieces cut. So this is with the scallop circle die, and then the Whisper White is also from the layering circle dies, so that they fit right in together. And I'm stamping this with Bermuda Bay. And while this set has some great expressions, they're a little bit too big for this circle, and I love this expression from the Charming Cafe set. I'm lucky to have a friend like you. So that's the stamp I've chosen to use on this card. Now this stamp just fits into this circle. Perfect. I really love the Bermuda Bay with the pumpkin pie. So it goes on like this. And then a couple more, 3 dimensionals. It goes on like that. And then I'm going to make 2 bows for this card. So members in my stamp club will receive plenty of ribbon to make 1 or 2 bows, whatever you prefer. Putting that on right here with a glue dot. Right on top of each other, and then just trim the edges. And there's the first card for the Emboss Resist technique for our stamp club this month. Really pretty, and of course you can use any color and any stamp set that you want. It's a great layout, but that Emboss Resist is always a wow. I hope you enjoyed that and give it a try. Happy stamping!